window. I can't take the move the phone just because it is on the charger right now. I just forgot to charge it last night. The flushing effect of niacin is so exaggerated. I took just took my first pill. It's not bad, the Glandolf. I think you'll like it. It's it does open up the capillaries. It is 100% harmless, and it is actually good to have because it opens up the capillaries, and that's how it actually burns your triglyceride levels. So which is pretty amazing, and some people love it. I actually take mine before the training session as well too. Works amazing. You need to go somewhere warm. I need to go, yeah, I think so. I think somebody needs to invite me to and make sure you guys have like a small land. I can maybe go and build a tiny house there. Because look at the weather. I'm supposed to leave this Friday, so hopefully the roads are not too bad. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. It's supposed to actually snow some more again today and tomorrow. I think I'm going to buy that water filter machine that you've talked about. Oh, the one that I have by Sentiva. Yeah, definitely check it out. They should be able to ship it to you, I believe. Paul, definitely look into it. Good morning from Africa. Do you ship supplements to Africa? I don't, Jeremy, I don't carry any supplements myself. All the supplements are some of the ones I currently use, either from iHerb or different companies. I just have them posted there for you guys to get an idea which ones I currently purchase. Tomorrow I'll take 2. Make sure Gandalf, depends what is the milligrams you're taking of niacin. If you're taking 250 milligrams, you can take it twice a day. If you're taking 500 milligrams, it just depends how much you want to utilize it and how much you want to control your lipids. Healthy Groove, hey, how are you? Good morning. Where do you live? Even Sweden is warm today. I'm in Canada. And it's, you guys can see we got snow. So it's kind of prevents me from finishing packing and doing certain things, which just kind of sucks. You're taking 500 milligrams of niacin, yeah, that's perfect. I usually take about 250 every 3 hours just because I'm doing a test phase right now. What do you know about Repatha? What would you like to know about Repatha? Usually Repatha is used, let's see, I'm just writing every question down and you guys ask me, because what happened is when you guys watch this video on YouTube, you can actually get an idea what we talked about. So with Repatha, how can I say this? It is actually meant for people that cannot tolerate any statins. And what they do is, the primary focus for Repatha is for people who actually have hyperthyroidism or hypercholesterolemia, for example. Sorry, not hypercholesterolemia. And what happens is it lowers your LDL levels below 20. We've seen, and it's an injection that they actually do. Is it gonna benefit? All it is just gonna reduce your LDL. The question is your LDL being oxidized or not? Now, some of the side effects you're gonna get from it is brain fog. You're gonna get some allergic reaction. Some end up having high levels of ALT and AST and bilirubin, which is your liver. Actually, the enzymes actually overstimulates. And some other side effects, sometimes you might get like gut or thighs issues. It seems to feel better than statins I've ever taken. Yeah, it is better than statin for some individuals. You don't have the major side effects as statins with muscle-inducing damage or anything like that. But yeah, it works not bad. Would I recommend it? Not really, because I'd like to actually see the other biomarkers, because the other biomarkers of your cholesterol will tell me whether they're being oxidized or not. It doesn't mean if it's high, that means you're at danger. Sorry, whoever questions I missed, definitely retype them one by one, because I'm gonna take my time to answer every question. What supplement do you recommend for a boy, aches and pains? Anything with joint pain is either a reduction in vitamin D3 and a reduction in magnesium. But the issue with aches and pains, most of it comes from the food we consume, either high in fructose, high in oxalates, and actually producing too much uric acid in our body. So you're having crystals around your joints. Um, aches and pains, oh boy. So I'm just writing the questions down. For supplementation, I would actually just use magnesium, vitamin D3. Make sure the vitamin D3 is at least 1,000 IU per 25 pound of body weight. I don't like taking over-the-counter things like Alvi or Motrin. Have you taken statin before? And is 100 milligram nice and sufficient to lower? I have taken my statin before. You need at least 250 to 500 milligrams as a starter. And you should monitor within about, let's say, 3 to 6 weeks. Do a blood work and see where the levels are at. Keep in mind, niacin, it's not all about lowering lipids or lowering your LDL. Niacin, based on your body type, it will balance your total cholesterol numbers, like your LDL, HDL, and triglycerides. It doesn't lower it too much. It will actually balance it based on your body type. It's not like statin where it lowers it and it depletes your LDL. We still need the LDL for our brain function. So it actually lowers it to a point where it's all balanced based on your body type, but it prevents oxidization, and that's the main key. This is for Vineth. How do we know if our liver needs to get cleaned? What do you recommend to clean your liver? You have high cholesterol, you feel sluggish, you feel fatigue. You'll end up knowing that your blood work, AST, ALT, bilirubin, all that stuff is actually increasing. You will notice that you are becoming more insulin resistant. So all these are actually related to your liver as well, because the liver still has multiple functions in the body. And that's when you know you need like a liver cleanse, for example, or better than a liver cleanse, you can just do intermittent fasting, and that would be like the best ultimate thing. I do lots of fasting, that's one option. Another option is you can take specific herbs if you want, like milk thistle, artichoke. You can take a glutathione, NAC, alpha-lipoic acids, things like that. And that's how you can actually do the liver cleanse if it's required. The bentonite clay, yeah, it does help. And depends what you want to use it for. Let me just write this down here. Bentonite. In regards to your how to lower triglyceride levels, you can download my ebook on how to control your cholesterol, your lipids with a non-statin treatment. Download my ebook, Urge, and it gives you all the explanation that I have from certain supplements you can use and what you should need to do. Cheers, Van. Thanks so much for the comment. Rick and Rhymes, there you go. Niacin dosage for 16-year-old with high lipoprotein A. You can take 250 milligrams, Susanna, but break it down to about 100 milligrams per dose. So maybe give him like 100 milligrams twice a day. But I wouldn't really worry too much about the lipoprotein A because he is very young still, but still it could start to cause atherosclerosis possibly. The question is, you want to make sure the other inflammatory factors are okay as well too. So you can give him 100 milligrams of niacin, maybe twice a day would be ideal, no more than that. 8 months carnivore here, supplementing magnesium and potassium, which is helping my blood pressure, but it's still a bit stubborn. How can I help GLP-1 supplement to help lower my blood pressure? Start taking taurine, Levy. Take taurine of 3,000 milligrams about 3 times a day, and it has to be in an empty stomach. So what taurine does will actually carry the magnesium and will actually uptake it at the cellular level. The only reason your blood pressure is still being stubborn because you don't have enough taurine to drive magnesium at the cellular level. Same with potassium. So taurine will actually hold, because taurine is heavily found in your heart, in your eyes, and in your brain, and that's how it actually accumulates all the electrolytes for the specific spot, so allow more flexibility for your arteries. But at the same time, Taurine is an antiplatelet. Taurine will actually prevent aggregation, prevents clumping. So that's really, really incredible to use. I want to use glutathione and NAC, but I have homozygous CBS gene. So let me see. I'm just writing this down. Homozygous CBS. Sorry, I'm writing every question down just so I can put it on the YouTube channel. Glutathione, NAC. So in regards to that gene, I'm just seeing if I have any notes on my cheat sheet that I wrote, because I did put all the genes in there, because I know with the gene, I think you have issues with the sulfur. It becomes an issue with NAC and glutathione. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look into it. Sorry. Hey, Pauline, how are you? When is the big trip out to your off-grid? It's supposed to be last Friday, but on the way, weather there in the location was not helping. We had about 2 feet of snow in the area where I'm actually supposed to. So I kind of postponed it to this Friday, and we're hoping the weather will be nice. As you can see, there's snow today in Calgary here. So it'll be coming up this Friday. I'll be leaving. Last week I couldn't go because the location off the grid had about 2 feet of snow. So it would have been very, very tough to go up with my truck and unload stuff and actually get the power and the water all going. So now I postponed it to this Friday. And today, look at it. It's snow. Hopefully it's raining there right now. So we'll see what happens. My neighbor told me, you know, I would postpone it for a week and kind of see how it goes. So we'll see how that goes. The weather just keeps changing. It's just it doesn't feel so good. How do you feel about hydrogen water? I think hydrogen water is just it's just another bullshit, another product that influencers trying to push to the people. I remember 6 years ago, I was part of a biohacking group, and one company got us to buy a hydrogen water machine. It was about $6,000 back in the days. It was almost about 200 pounds in weight, and it actually generates 1 cup every 15 minutes of 9 parts per million. But the thing is, hydrogen water is bullshit. You know, they claim that you actually absorb more nutrients. They claim that you do all these things and it increases your digestive juices and everything. But it's all that stuff is just bullshit and mimic. And it's all kind of produced in a plastic freaking container, right? So imagine about the microplastic and the mimicking of the estrogen and not hydrogen water. Hydrogen water, you know, if you actually get a filtered machine and get your filtered cup of water, have it in a cup water, and put it in the sun, then the water becomes what is called easy water or clustered water with full of minerals. What more would you want for a fraction of the cost, without actually having some type of machine trying to actually make your hydrogen water? And I think it's just bullshit. People are just after the money right now. I already have about a few patients bought it. They've been using it for the past 3 months, have not felt a difference. And it was just a waste of $100 to $200 roughly. Hey, Miss Cosmo, how are you? So I think some of these products out there are too good to be true, and they're just highly advertised so people can actually make money left and right. Can a moderately abnormal left ventricle hypertrophy be reversed? It depends how bad it is and how long you've had it for. But yeah, some of the stuff, it's not whether it could be reversed. You can actually sometimes stop the progression. Some of the stuff you might need to use peptides or stem cells to actually repair it fully, but it depends how bad it is. I can't really give you any straight answer unless I kind of see like blood work, x-rays and everything, just to see how bad the damage is, because it kind of varies per person. So guys, whoever sent me some messages that were being blocked, but definitely let me know You've not moved? No, I haven't. Look at the weather outside behind me. I can't move my phone. We just got hit with snow again. I'll be moving this Friday, Miss Cosmo. This Friday I'll be driving out whether there's snow or not. I have to. I can't anymore delay it. ECG tests, they're bullshit, to be honest with you. They don't really give us much information. They don't do anything, just a waste of money. It doesn't kind of give us a full picture. Yeah, the weather is not helping at all. You know, it's never been like this. Having snow and almost coming up to May 1st. What is a natural alternative to aspirin? Blood thinner. You can do cayenne, you can do ginger, you can do garlic, you can do nattokinase instead of taking aspirin, because aspirin does affect your GFR levels, and actually it will drop it. It will drop your GFR levels, which is your kidney function. So like I said, you have cayenne. I did a video on this on the aspirin. I did mention giant cayenne. There's ginger, garlic. There's nattokinase. There's a lot of different products you can use for blood thinning. Have you taken COVID vaccine? No, I don't believe in any of that vaccine bullshit. I didn't even touch it. I lost one of my job because I didn't take the vaccine. I will never go on my knees for anybody, not even the fucking government. Sorry to say that, guys, but it is what it is. I don't believe in any of that stuff. How can I get protein? I need build muscle on a low sulfur diet. It depends how bad it's affecting you. I'll have to look into that. Well, amino acids. Well, the amino acids should be fine. Like I know the NAC. It is part of the amino acid profile, but is it gonna affect you? I'll have to look into that for you to see how much is it affecting you, or whether it's gonna cause an inflammation reaction or not. Maybe send me a direct DM. Healthy groove. I'll look into it for you. I know I've never really been asked that question in regards to the sulfur, because none of my patients had sulfur issue. But in your case, I can definitely look into it for you, no problem, and I can figure out. It depends how bad it affects you. It depends whether it causes any specific issues in the body or heavy inflammatory. I'm taking Nero at home. Perfect. Bravo. My friend got a blood clot and nearly lost her legs after the AstraZeneca. Yeah, you know, I've heard a lot of people are having a lot of issues with the COVID, and I've had two friends already who already have a stroke. So their whole left side is all paralyzed. Their arm, their leg, half of their face all got paralyzed 3 months after taking the shot. Never had no health issues at all whatsoever. So definitely won't recommend it for anybody or moving down the road. My wife's friend and nurse, and she said there's a huge increase in people getting MC. I'm just gonna write this down. Leg cramps, you can actually increase your magnesium. Let me write this down. MCAS. This is we're talking about the mast cell activation, right? Is that what you're asking? But a lot of that stuff, the mast cell activation, is all due to the food, if that's what you're trying to get to, because it is related to the food you consume that's actually causing these. The docs even admit it was because of the vaccine. Shocking. Yeah, 100%. Supposedly, there is a lot of taurine in meat. As carnivore, should I have more to help with my stubborn blood pressure? How much more? See, the problem is with taurine that you get in meat, it's not gonna do the same thing as you taking taurine on its own, because taurine does conflict with other amino acids. It kind of lowers its benefit. So even thought there is taurine in meat and eating carnivore. I eat pretty much a good, at least 99% of my diet being carnivore. You still don't get enough taurine, trust me, and we need a lot. and it has to be consumed on an empty stomach for it to actually be activated correctly. If you take it with other amino acid or close to a meal, it conflicts and it defeats the purpose. Trust me, try using it, 3,000 milligrams in an empty stomach. You can mix it with magnesium, that's what I do. And that's how you can actually uptake proper magnesium and potassium. They're thinking it's long COVID side effect, and now people have histamine issues. See, histamine issues and anything with mast cell activation, all that stuff could be controlled. What it does is just you become very sensitive to certain food groups that actually have histamine. Now you can take, one of the best things to actually fix that, and I've helped a lot of people with it, is taking quercetin. Quercetin is one of your most powerful, but you have to take the right amount, roughly up to 1,000 milligrams. Quercetin would be good. There was another product, but it's very, very expensive. It is a histamine or a mast cell enzyme that I've tested because I have a histamine issue from certain foods. I can't remember the name of it, but it's very expensive, and you can take it because our body does not produce enough of it. And what happened is, due to the COVID and other things, that actually interferes and conflicts with a lot of these enzymes in our bodies. So we become more sensitive to certain foods, and if we end up eating these foods, you're gonna get, itchiness, hives, you're gonna get swelling, headaches, migraines, you're gonna feel fatigue, your inner mouth is gonna actually break out. So there's a lot of issues. DAO, yeah, there you go. Janet just mentioned it, DAO. That's a supplement I actually took as an enzyme, and it does work really, really good, but it does get quite expensive as well too. So sometimes you will actually start to eliminate so many of these foods, just you end up causing it. Especially anything with hormonal foods. Vitamin D3, K2, good for depression. I would use, Ritik, I always use L-theanine. Vitamin D3 and K2, it doesn't really, works a little bit, but not a whole lot. I would use L-theanine. You'll get an effect much faster, and you'll fulfill that missing gap while you're actually fixing the depression issues. Mostly due sometimes to your MTHFR gene, or it could be sometimes related to your B complex having issues with methylation. It's not so much the D3 and the K2. The D3 works a little bit because it does have about 300 different functions because it is a hormone, but I would actually go for L-theanine more than anything. And sometimes your vitamin B becomes deficient. Sorry, new here. What form of taurine supplement do you recommend? If you go to my website, you can see the one I use. You can take taurine, make sure you get it in powder form and not in capsule, because you're going to be taking a high dose of taurine. I'm taking L-theanine 200 milligrams twice a day. You can take more than that, Ritik, in the beginning stages. You can take one in the morning, lunch and dinner, empty stomach. I have some patients, they go as high as 1,000 milligrams. Once they fix the issue, then they actually reduce the amount. So definitely try that out. Keep me updated. Is LPPLA2 another name for lipoprotein A? No, LPPLA2 is the most... so if you have if you have LP small a high, it's always good to check LPPLA2 because they actually work in conjunction with each other. If LPPLA2 is high, it's more dangerous than the LP small a. This is because LP small a, it is a genetic that you're prone to get atherosclerosis, but LPPLA2 will actually give you like a positive answer that there is soft plaque build up. And the best way to reduce that, I just did the recent video yesterday on YouTube and I just posted it on TikTok. I was talking about gotu kola, the herb, to actually suppresses the PLA2 enzyme. About the left ventricle hypertrophy, I think it was caused by hypertension because my blood pressure is 140/85. Yeah, definitely. Like blood pressure is the first sign of heart disease, and it is going to cause heart disease. So imagine when your arteries become super stiff, and what happened is the amount of flow that is going through these arteries is very high and very extreme. So if they're very stiff, they're going to start to kind of cause damage to your arteries. So Gandalf, wanna two of the best supplements you can actually use for soft plaque, because soft plaque is what creates calcifications, right? You have polyphenols. You guys should write this down. Polyphenols, 2000 milligrams daily. And you guys know what polyphenols are, right? They come from, let's say, green tea, which is EGCG. They come from pomegranate, which is ellagic acid. They come from gotu kola because you have, quercetin, you have apigenin, you have camphorol. So all these are actually considered to be polyphenols. So to prevent soft plaque from bursting, for example, you can actually take polyphenols. But to actually suppress your LPPLA2 enzyme so it does not cause more harm to your body, then you can actually start taking gotu kola. And of course, you need magnesium and nitric oxide to actually allow flexibility while you're actually fixing it. Heart attack 10 years now, type 2 diabetes on metformin, now LDL very low, doctor put me on folic acid. Folic acid is synthetic. Folic acid is going to cause more of an issue more than actually benefit you. You need to be taking methyl-folate. You need to take methyl-folate. And type 2 diabetes, all that stuff, Kobo, you can fix that. We can fix that with the diet, with the lifestyle. Your methyl-folate, all it's going to do is not going to help your LDL. Your methyl-folate is just going to help with your homocysteine level. Only if you have an issue with the MTHFR and your homocysteine level is above 9, then yeah, then it is going to help you. But if you have very low LDL as well too, the problem is you're going to end up having cognition issues, muscle pain, and a lot of other issues. Even though you had a heart attack 10 years ago, there's other supplementation you can take. That doesn't have to be that you are on these medication for life. You can actually customize everything based on your body type. And I can do that for you. I've been there, I've done that, going from 11 medications down to almost just one right now. So you can definitely do all these things. What is your opinion on the lipid energy model and the lean mass hyper-responder metabolic profile? Do you agree, and are there benefits to embracing this profile with carnivore? This is a good question because anybody with hyper-responder, yes, they tend to have high cholesterol levels. They could be as lean as possible. I actually fall in that category in a hyper-responder. I am down to about between 7 to 5% body fat, but yet my LDL is in the upper 400 range, 400 milligrams per deciliter for my LDL. A lot of people actually freak out. My doctor freak out because mine is in the upper 700. The question is it being oxidized or not? If it's not being oxidized, if the LDL levels are not being oxidized, first of all, why should you worry? Second of all, let's go back 20 years ago. There was a physicist, I can't find him right now. There's a physicist that actually I used to train with, and he actually worked part of the bodybuilding community. And a lot of bodybuilders that actually had the hyper-responder, they actually had very high cholesterol levels, and a lot of the doctors wanted to put them on statins. But he came up with a method where it's called, you guys probably heard of it, it's called carb loading. A lot of bodybuilders do it. So what happened is you go on a, let's say if you're doing a carnivorous diet and you're eating zero carbohydrates, so what happened is pretty much your body's running off fat for fuel, but doing fat for fuel is going to continue increasing your LDL levels. But the question is it being oxidized? So to kind of counteract that and lower your LDL level, you do what is called the carb loading once a week. As simple as that. That's why there's a new influencers in the past 6 months came up and started talking about cookies and cream and a whole bunch of other crap. He actually got that idea from the physicist 20 years ago, because a lot of bodybuilders, and I was in that category, I still use it. Even though I am on a carnivorous diet, I still do what is called a carb load once a week, so you can actually refuel your glycogen levels. And by doing that, you actually lower your fat profile in the liver, and by doing that, you actually reduce your LDL naturally, without statins, without causing oxidation, without anything. So what happens is by doing a glycogen storage once a week, your LDL drops more than 50%. The guy was saying, well, do it do it every single day. 20 to 30 grams would be sufficient, and eat cookies and cream is just bullshit. You're just trying to get the attention. But all it is for hyper responder, you eat 100% carnivorous diet. Once a week, you do what's called carb load. You refuel the glycogen storage. Your LDL profile drops without any oxidation. I've tested it. I've been doing it for 7 years, and the LDL shows like promising levels, and there is no oxidation. And it works amazing. So I'm gonna take a question from should diabetic carnivores do carb load once a week also? Yes, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend it. Thiamine, overdosing on thiamine. The only thing is, like I've taken a lot of thiamine. I think the average is supposed to be like 1,000 micrograms or one. I've taken 100 milligrams for 30 days, didn't really feel much. The only thing is sometimes if you end up taking too much, it is gonna deplete your other vitamin Bs. But the only thing is with it, you're gonna end up possibly getting maybe like slight allergic reaction or digestive issue, or sometimes might kind of, how can I say this, get a little bit of cognition issues with taking too much thiamine, but it's not gonna really affect the body a whole lot. Is bergamot good for lowering cholesterol? It's not bad, it works okay. You have to take it for about 6 to 8 weeks before you feel a difference. Feel good is selling fiber to reduce the effect of carbs is good for carb load days. No, I would not use it, and I think that product is a waste of money. You can buy these fiber products for a fraction of the price and spending over $100 a month to actually just add some fiber to your diet. It's better to get your fiber from food if you really need fiber. Fiber is a myth as well too. You don't need fiber to actually have a movement, and it does not work good the same way as we're talking about carb load. Carb load has to come from like simple carbohydrates and not complex carbohydrates, and there's a reason for that. Safe dose for the thiamine, I have to check my cheat book. Let me see, I can't remember the top of my head. I think, what was it, about 1,000 micrograms per day for male, and about 800 micrograms for female. Yeah, I think that's what it was. If I schedule an appointment with you, will you go over my recent blood work? Yes, Janet, I will go over it and we'll actually break it down in specifics, so therefore everything makes sense to you. And this way you can actually, we'll put notes and do like a full report. Why carb load if your high LDL is not oxidizing? Why lower LDL? Why glycogen replenish? Well, the thing is, it depends on the individual. If your LDL is not oxidizing, then nothing to worry about. Only for certain people that actually their LDL is being oxidized, because we end up seeing such a high levels of LDL, and we end up checking their LPPLA2, and we see such a high number in LPPLA2 or even ApoB. So that means there is an issue happening somewhere. That means your LDL, or the intake of saturated fats getting from animal fats, are not being utilized correctly. So there's so much left over. And that happens a lot with a lot of bodybuilders. And a lot of people, they end up consuming so much fats, like going on a ketogenic diet, for example, and they never really utilize that fat correctly. So end up being stored and end up causing insulin resistance, but at the same time starting to get oxidized. It depends per individual level. I cannot say you're fall in that category, even though you might be hyper responder and have high cholesterol and everything, but if none of your LDL levels are being oxidized, then there's no need to do any carb load. In my case, mine went up very high, like in the upper 700, and unfortunately I was getting about 33% being oxidized. So I had to actually do that, and that was the only way I can lower it. I hope that makes sense. Any recommendation for ED? A concerned friend is asking me to ask you. Yeah, you can take nitric oxide, or go to cola is even used for that. It's all about blood flow. It's all about blood flow. But nitric oxide works the best for ED, if that's what you're worried. And sometimes ED happens because of blood pressure. Solution for stress diarrhea is electrolytes, is magnesium. That's your most answer. Diarrhea is happening because your small intestine does not have correct pH level. and because not correct pH level, you're actually experiencing diarrhea. So all your food is just being flushed out. It gets to your intestine, nothing is being absorbed to your system, and it just gets flushed out. Hey Andrea, cheers to the flower. Thank you guys. By the way, when TikTok gets shut down, I need you guys to move over to YouTube so we can continue doing these lives, because if it does get shut down, I know they have TikTok knows, and I'm not gonna be able to do lives there yet. I don't know if they're gonna change that. I highly recommend meeting with Maurice. We did, and we learned so much and improving his EF. Thank you so much for cooks and me. Cheers to that. Thanks so much for the comment. Let's put that comment here. Really appreciate it. Beetroot powder is good for nitric oxide only if it's 25% extracted. If it's not 25% extracted, you have to take 250 grams of beetroot powder, which is a lot of freaking money, and you can actually use a whole bag in like one dose to actually get 500 milligrams of nitrate release. See, the problem is we need to actually take nitrate and convert it to nitric oxide. And if you don't take minimum 500 milligrams of nitrate, you're actually just wasting your money. And trust me, if you buy these beetroot powder and they claim they actually increase your nitric oxide, they don't, because it depends on the extraction. And that's why there's a patent design against beetroot 25%, which is Berkeley holds the patent design, so nobody can copy it. That's why a lot of companies, you only offer like 10% extraction. What is good solution for excessive sweating? Well, your body, how can I answer that? Excessive sweating is just your body's actually releasing a lot of, it's almost like a detoxification, but sometimes it is all due to your diet, and excessive sweating is usually related to a high carb diet. So I don't know what kind of diet you follow. I just about to beat you. I just bought the beet shoes. Yeah, be careful. If it's not 25%, you're just wasting money. I have the Eka that will also highly recommend meeting with Maurice. I have to echo that also highly recommend meeting with Maurice. The amount of knowledge is amazing. Thanks so much, Ms. Cosmo. Really appreciate that, and I hope I know that the time was very short, but I hope we covered quite a bit. What's your nitric oxide? The nitric oxide I use, it is by Berkeley. I have it on my website actually. Check it out. And that one activates nitric oxide for 6 to 8 hours. I have osteoporosis and I quit taking biotin, and I'm taking K2D3 with black seed oil. Good. For osteoporosis, you need to take high vitamin D3. You might have to reach up to 100,000 IU of vitamin D3, and you have to take borax, so you can get boron. Borax, yes, it is a detergent, but that's how you can get your proper boron and your vitamin D3 up to 100,000 IU to actually help with osteo. And your K2, you have to take minimum 300 to 500 micrograms, but as well start to actually remove anything that has oxalates, because oxalates are what's causing the damage of your joints, or osteoporosis in other words. Yes, I agree. I'm taking the things he recommended. Looking forward to working with him. He's great. Thanks so much, Maria. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for the comment, guys. We are ditching our doctors and just MTG with Maurice with our lab, getting off the pharmaceuticals. Cheers to that. 100%. 100%. I'm here to help you guys with everything I could, and I'll definitely give you all the information that you need to know. In specific as well too, and what supplementations would help, because there's a lot of answers out there that's actually missing, and definitely you guys need it. I think my osteoporosis was caused from never being diagnosed from hypothyroidism and Hashimoto. It is related 100%, but it all kind of starts in the gut, Kobo. What you eat will actually either feed a disease or cure a disease. And in your case, you've had the issue with hypothyroidism, let's say underactive or Hashimoto. It's all related to your gut. It's very small percentage that is actually coming directly from the thyroid. The thyroid is actually all starting in the gut, because 80% is what you're eating. Um, there is a lot of arginine in meats. As a carnivore, can I expect my body to learn to produce more enough nitric oxide? When you are eating, a lot of carnivorous, your body will actually utilize arginine to actually produce proper nitric oxide, correct? But the problem is, the nitric oxide that it comes or that is produced from arginine is not enos. That's the problem. It is inos. So it means it's induced nitric oxide and not endothelium nitric oxide. So there is two different things. There's actually three different things. So enos is actually, it is produced sometimes from garlic, from certain beets, and arugula. That's what actually it produces enos for endothelial nitric oxide. I even thought you're on a carnivorous diet, but the problem is whatever you've had before as a diet or lifestyle, you've actually caused harm or caused issues to your system that even thought you went carnivorous. It doesn't mean that you're actually going to fix your issue 110%. You probably will fix it in time, but it doesn't happen overnight. It could possibly take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or 10 years to actually fix certain issues or get a proper nitric oxide. And keep in mind, nitric oxide is depleted based on age as well, and based on our lifestyle. So yes, it does produce, but it does not produce enough. And if it produces too much arginine, it will end up causing oxidative stress. Venus, thanks so much for the gifts. Cheers. Garlic supplement, is it good for lowering cholesterol? Garlic supplement is okay if you take under 7 grams. If you take more than 7 grams, it is gonna kill brain cells, but it's not as effective to actually reducing cholesterol. It's more effective of preventing your cholesterol from oxidizing. What kind of magnesium should I use for the ventricle hyper? You gotta use magnesium ionic chloride to actually. This is the one I use, so you can actually saturate your cells correctly. You gotta put about 20 to 40 drops per 1 cup of water, and you gotta do that at least 3 times a day, and that's the only way you can saturate. And you have to actually take taurine with it. But that's the only way you can actually do it. And there's your taurine as well too. Taurine has to be powder, 3,000 milligrams. You have to take it seriously. Like even thought whether you guys are carnivore or eating healthy or not, you're never gonna fix the deficiency right away. It's gonna take years. I've been doing carnivore for 10 years now. I did raw for about 4 or 5 years. I still had to supplement with these because even my blood work that I did, and I do a lot of blood work. I've done probably up to date more than 3,000 blood work in the past 10 years. And they show deficiencies in certain amino acids profile and status of vitamins and minerals. There's still certain vitamins and minerals we don't get because even thought, we could have so much taurine or other vitamins and minerals in the food we eat. But the problem is our soil has been depleted. Even if the cows are eating the grass-fed or grass-finished, the dirt where the grass is being grown is actually depleted from a lot of minerals. So the profile of certain amino acids are very low. The profile of certain vitamins and minerals is very low. And it all started back in the 1930s because our soils have been depleted. What's your thoughts on statins? Statins is a money-making machine. You got pharmaceuticals and government, they're just so happy. They make so much money off statins and they get so excited about it, right? Yes, it does lower your cholesterol, but it gives you a host of side effects. But do you really need to lower your cholesterol? Even if your cholesterol is oxidizing, let's say, do you think statin is going to prevent the oxidization? No. What actually causes the oxidization is your diet. All we're doing is putting a band-aid on the issues, but we're not really looking after the root cause. And the root cause could be found right in your food, from the heavy Roundup sprays, from the lack of vitamins, the heavily processed foods, Our water has been tampered with, everything has been tampered with. So technically, we are not getting the nutrients we need, and that's why our cholesterol tends to go up sometimes. The question is, why is the cholesterol going up? It's not something you're doing, it's something you're eating that has actually been fed to us. Are you going to put this live on YouTube as we can see it? Yes, 100%. What I've been putting is the live on YouTube. And what I've been doing is, guys, every time you see me, I don't know if you guys see me typing, I'm actually writing down the question that you guys have been asking so you can see what we covered in that video. So this way you guys can see, okay, Maurice did cover, you know, Taurine did cover about the soft plaque, all that stuff. Let's listen to it. It's just, unfortunately, none of the videos will actually kind of, I wish they would actually copy you guys' questions, but they don't, which is too bad. Is there a cheaper magnesium supplement you could recommend? No, that would be the cheapest one because it's all about bioavailability. It's not about buying a cheap magnesium. It's all about being bioavailable for our body. What is the best email to reach you? You guys can, I have it on my profile. So it is team@mauricedeher.com. I've asked 4 questions and none answered, unless it's been blocked. None of your questions came up. I see every person's question on here. If you have severe blockages, lowering cholesterol might stop clogging, right? Well, lowering cholesterol will actually prevent the further calcification, right? Which is correct. But the whole idea is to look at the root cause. If you don't fix the root cause, you're just actually using statins or using, let's say, niacin just to kind of suppress the cholesterol level. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's a glass bottle, the ionic chloride. You know, we would like it to be glass, but unfortunately, most of the ones we get, some of them are glass, some of them are plastic, as long as actually it's clean source. And as long as you're doing a zeolite product, let's say, once every couple of months, so it actually gets rid of a lot of the microplastics or anything like that, or anything that actually mimics estrogen does work. I'm supplementing with potassium citrate and magnesium citrate form. While they may not be the most absorbable forms, are there any dangers to citrate forms to worry about? The citrate is actually not bad because it does help with gut issue and it does help with kidneys if there is, let's say, kidney stone. The problem is with citrate, it's citric acid. The question is, citric acid is made from mold. If that's a correct form. So citric acid that is actually mixed with magnesium or potassium is made from mold. And that's why we see a lot of individuals have allergic reactions. Now, I know it's a minuscule level, but still it could cause some issues. So we have to kind of be careful where the citrate is being made. So sometimes asking a certificate of analysis from the company would actually tell you where the citrate is coming from. Which part of citric acid? Is it the mold form or is it the natural form? So it's made from mold because citrate usually, I think I gotta check to see my notes where they get it from. So usually it should be coming from, let's say, lemons or citrus fruits, but it's actually coming from mold. That's a cheap version of it. Is gonna end up causing some allergic reaction down the road. Charles Merklin, I haven't seen any of your questions yet. I don't know why. Who's blocking my? It's not who's blocking yours. Usually who blocks your messages is TikTok. They actually filter them out. Hey Robert, how are you? How's Duke? Duke is here beside me. Okay, let me unplug the phone. If I unplug the phone, I know I don't have much charge anymore on both units because I forgot to charge them both. I know I wanted to do like an hour, go have my coffee, then come back and maybe we'll do another hour with you guys. Because look at the weather outside. It's freaking snowy. And of course, who's waiting for me here, guys? Yeah. Okay. Why are you taking my hand? Okay, here you go. There you go. There's you guys'. Shame on TikTok. I need all the advice I can get. Sure, try to ask. Send the question again. I'll see if it comes up. If it doesn't come up, you might maybe have to send me like a direct DM. Duke, wanna say hi? Not me, really. Oh. He doesn't like me talking when it's his time to play, because like he knows I'm not paying attention to him. Come on, bud. Be nice. How to get rid of oxalates? You gotta actually discontinue all your greens. A lot of the greens contain heavy oxalates, and once you actually become, let's say if you're actually gonna go full meat base with zero oxalates, like zero greens, it will take roughly about 3 years for the oxalates to flush out from your body. And the cool thing about oxalates, the way it flushes out, within about 2 years you're gonna go into like a massive joint aches and pains, and after that your body will start to release some white powder around your joints. And that's when you know how the oxalates are actually being flushed out from your system. That's the only way. Now, magnesium helps with the oxalates, but if you are going to still continue eating some of these veggies, then you have to actually eat some cheese, because cheese contains calcium, and the calcium binds to oxalates. I love your dog. Cheers. Thank you, Ru. Reword the question. They use filters to block comments. Yeah, guys, a lot of the questions sometimes they get blocked. Go into your YouTube channel to get acclimatized. Is chicken liver a good source of MK2? I don't eat chicken liver. I'll have to check. I tend to eat a lot of lamb liver, goose liver. They are high in MK7. I'll just have to check. The MK4 versus the MK4, it's not bad as well. Just has a half-life. But I haven't really looked into chicken liver. I don't like chicken liver because we can't really get like pasture-raised chicken here at all, lovely. But yeah, you know, if you can tolerate it, you can get like pasture-raised, go for it. If not, maybe stick with the beef or stick with yak or goose or anything like that. I know a lot of carnivores, they like pork liver. It does have one of the richest source, but I didn't really like it. The oxalates, no, they been removed from the beet extract supplementation. I know that for a fact. Even Berkeley does that. Actually, they remove the oxalates from that when it's actually processed. How can I lower my cholesterol with Hashimoto? Well, it's not so much about lowering your cholesterol. You have to actually address your Hashimoto. Then your cholesterol lowers. The only reason cholesterol is high because when you have Hashimoto, your your calcium tend to go up. I've taken omega-3 and entanol 50 milligrams. Is that okay? So yeah, it should be fine as long as they're not too close to each other. Right, Duke? Duke knows. There you go. He's shedding like crazy. Look at this. This is all from yesterday. Dude, this is all yours from yesterday. Don't eat it. Give it to me. So there's the red light as well too. This is what we use, me and Duke. It's like 1,000 watt. I don't know if you can take it off grid or even have 1,000 watt there to run it. We might have to keep it here. Is that true that Candida is another form of cancer? It's not really, you know, they start to come up with so many things. Candida is just an issue with your diet that's actually causing it. Is the excessively high vitamin A in copper and lamb or beef liver a worry? No, it's not a worry. I eat liver every single day most of the time, and the vitamin A, you know, unless you're exceeding 100,000 IU per day, then you cannot look into that, but no. And the copper, as long as you get enough zinc, that the zinc to copper ratio is good enough to actually prevent any toxicity to the liver. So no, there's nothing to worry about it at all. The TikTok version of your life is much better. Clarify of voice and images is far different. TikTok is better, and YouTube, your voice clarity seems very distant. Oh, maybe it's the phone that I have. Then maybe I'll try to fix that. Because I know with my iPhone got dropped a few times. Then maybe that's why. But no, thanks so much for letting me know that. I'll try to fix it. I think it's the phone more than anything. I know I am getting another phone because I dropped this phone a few times and my GPS doesn't even work anymore. So, but we'll work on that, guys. I'm sure I'm gonna, when I'm off grid next week, I'll have everything set up so it'll be different. How do you improve a low thyroid and low energy? Thyroid is all to do with your digestion. The first thing is I will start to take some digestive enzymes more than anything in the beginning stages. Duke, we're not gonna go outside yet. Just wait. Magnesium chloride oil is good. I haven't, it's probably used topically, right? The oil, I haven't come across that one yet. Coming through well in Australia on YouTube. Oh, perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah, maybe it is the phone. Maybe it is your unit, my unit. I know sometimes the phones are not the best when we're doing these lives, but sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. But it looks like it is working to a point for some of you guys. But I'll implement like a microphone and other things just so maybe better lighting as well too. But I know I like to do these lives outside in the summertime, so you guys can see what I'm doing or what I'm building while we're actually chatting and stuff. So I think it'll be great to have as well. And there was an article I read in regards to, you know, cancer as well too. The problem is with cancer, guys, don't look at it as something being bad. It's just your body goes through so much environmental toxins, right? And your system is trying to actually constantly clean up your body. And the only reason cancer accumulates because it's coagulation of, let's say, dirty cells. And all it is just they actually end up causing a tumor or whatever it is, because they're actually trying to actually prevent cancer from actually expanding through the body. So before you actually get your doctor to actually poke you with a freaking needle or anything like that and end up leaking that tumor or leaking that thing, it's better to actually look into for a treatment for it, because the body's trying to actually get rid of it from the system, is having a hard time. So the first thing you should do is start taking some heavy levels of antioxidants and polyphenols to support your body's immunity. Do you take magnesium glycinate? I do take magnesium glycinate before I sleep. You still be online when you're off grid? Yes, I'll have internet connection. It'll be even better than a city as well too. 100%. 100%. We'll still be doing lives every day. I have to do lives every day. And the magnesium glycinate that I take, Ritik, is roughly about 200 milligrams just before sleep. That's all I use it for. If you take it during daytime, it makes you sleepy. I take 121 elemental, perfect. And probably the rest of it is glycinate I take. What helps with candida? It's all in your diet. It's all in your diet. Oops, I got a lot of questions coming in. Give me a second, guys. My carnivore wife is getting lots of iron intake. Her serum iron is good, but ferritin is in the low range. If serum iron is fine, do we need to worry about ferritin levels? The ferritin level, if you're getting a lot of iron overload, the only thing is you have to kind of watch for is inflammation, right? So you check your ALT, AST, GFR, and ACR. And these are actually very crucial to find out if the ferritin that is being high is it causing any issues with the liver or possibly the kidneys, because it will actually, the first sign is going to show, even thought you might have high ferritin, is going to show into your liver. Let me just write this down. Ferritin levels too high. And if that continues accelerating, going up too high due to the meat that you guys are consuming, sometimes it's going to end up causing issues with type 2 diabetes and sometimes a condition with heart disease, right? Because iron has a huge picture, it plays a huge role in this. So you always have to kind of keep an eye on your LPPLA2, make sure there's no issues, but as well keep your liver in check. Now, if you do want to take some supplements to actually lower that, the only way you can lower it is by donating blood. That will actually lower it. Or sometimes what you have to do is do like a chelation therapy, only if it's actually causing an issue. These would be like your high number 2 to actually fix it, and or you might have to lower certain intake of certain foods. Do you think how do you think taurine will go with magnesium glycinate and magnesium citrate? You can definitely use them. It's gonna take your elemental and actually allow for uptake. Is magnesium glycinate good for? Magnesium glycinate is mostly of a relaxation to help the body relax. What processes and activities use the iron? Let me write this down. Iron is good. No, they shouldn't be it shouldn't be an issue. So what uses iron, for example, in the body? You have so you got your red blood cells uses it. That's how actually it carries oxygen to the body correctly. Sometimes you might have, like, if you're taking vitamin C, is gonna increase your iron. But keep in mind as well, your liver is the main job to actually balance your iron levels, but mostly is going to end up using in the hemoglobin synthesis more than anything with iron. That's why our body can only use so much of it. Now, the only way you can excrete iron from the body, from my understanding, and I've done this a lot of times for myself because I am a heavy meat eater and I do eat a lot of liver, and yes, my iron sometimes goes up. Now, the only thing you can do to actually excrete excess iron is actually magnesium and potassium. They're the only two parts that can actually excrete iron from the body, and or doing for a much faster effect. If you have too much, you can actually use zeolite as well too. Now, zeolite, it does actually capture any inorganic material and excess iron, because excess iron will actually just sits in your kidneys sometimes and it causes issues with your GFR as well. So it will actually capture them and will actually flushes them out from the body, and that's how you can actually remove it. But one of the most effective way, of course, is blood donating. That's one thing, while you're actually fixing the main cause. So if you're doing, let's say, blood donation once every 6 months, then it's nothing really to worry about. But if you're not doing that often and your iron levels starting to go up, it's not been utilized or recycled correctly in the body, then it is ideal to actually do like the zeolite flush out. Well, it kind of captures all the, let's say, heavy metals and inorganic materials from the body, and it's they get flushed out. That's like, I'm trying to kind of put it in like in as simple, as basic as I could. I'm kind of having a hard time giving you guys like an example, because sometimes iron as well is actually being absorbed through your intestine as well too. So having proper pH, proper magnesium, proper potassium will prevents the overload. But as well, probably doing, keep in mind as well, like some of us take a lot of supplements. A lot of these supplements, they actually contain heavy metals. They contain other things that we shouldn't be consuming on a daily basis. And even doing, like, say, fasting, intermittent fasting, Robert was mentioned, activated charcoal, zeolite, all that stuff will actually work in actually capturing these heavy metals and being flushed out from your system. So that's like the most I can just kind of explain it to you guys in a simple way. Hyperaldosteronism. I don't know if I have any info on that. Can potassium and magnesium supplementation cause ferritin to go too low? No, it won't cause that. Serum iron is good level thought. Do I need to worry about ferritin if serum iron? If serum iron is okay, I wouldn't really worry too much about ferritin. My level of ferritin is very high, and I constantly check. Now, for me, I have no issues with it, but I constantly check my LPPLA2, and I always check my liver and kidney enzymes. So if the liver and kidney enzymes are working correctly, I wouldn't really worry too much about the ferritin, and it's not going to be over depleted. Um, Now you're asking me a question in regards to aldosterone. Your body, you're overproducing aldosterone. This is usually comes from your adrenals. So there's an issue with your adrenals. Yeah, because your adrenals actually fall in the same category of actually producing too much aldosterone, which just causes high blood pressure. So could be you have an issue with a Crohn's syndrome, or could be you have an issue, but most of the time it is issue with it could be a kidney issue, could be a liver issue, a heart disease issue, and all these are going to end up causing high blood pressure. But your adrenals plays a huge role in that. You're actually overstimulating your adrenals. That's actually producing that. The question is why? Either you have very low potassium, or you're probably getting numbness, or tingling sensation. Your kidney EGFR is out of whack. Your ACR is out of whack. So it's kind of throwing everything out of whack. To fix, what would I use to fix it? Let's say, for example, if it was me, the first thing is you want to look after your adrenals. Find out why it's causing this. Stop any overstimulation food. Add some more magnesium. Add some garlic and coenzyme Q10. These would be like your top. And because you have high blood pressure, you need to actually fix your magnesium so you can actually prevent any further damage. That would be like my ideal scenario. How can I increase the testosterone? Testosterone you can actually increase with vitamin D. You can actually by getting an infrared light and shooting it on your man parts about 6 minutes 3 times a week. That increases your testosterone, but it's not so much about increasing your testosterone. Boron works really good for testosterone, or you can get it from borax. But it's all about reducing your estrogen, because a lot of the guys right now, they're all more estrogen dominant because everything we eat and everything we buy is wrapped in plastic, and plastic mimics estrogen. So it is ideal to check your estradiol, your estrogen levels and blood tests, and actually see, do you really need to increase your testosterone, or you need to actually lower your estrogen? So if you need to lower your estrogen level, then you have to take calcium D-glucarate to actually flush out any excess estrogen from the body. What causes gallstones? Why don't we get them on carnivore? The only reason we get gallstones, I don't know if we get them on carnivore, I can't really say that it's a carnivore issue, is because not enough bile being actually flushed out. And the only time we use bile from our gallbladder is when we eat anything that is monounsaturated fats. That's how we activate it. So eating, let's say, an avocado, eating olive oil, eating certain pork pieces that is very high in monounsaturated, then it actually gets used up. Carnivore does not cause issue with the gallbladder at all. If it's there because it's never been utilized correctly, there's actually a hardened, and they become gallstones. Should zinc be taken daily? If you're going to be taking the zinc daily, Janelle, you could. Just make sure you are taking copper, but not the same time. The ratio zinc to copper has to be at least 7-1. I did a few videos on how to actually use zeolite, because it is based on body weight, Ritik. I know I did put the video on YouTube, on TikTok, but I'll actually make another video maybe and put it on YouTube for you. What would you consider a high level of total sugar in grams from daily intake of whole food? Example, berries, beetroot, veggies. All varies. I can't really give you an answer on that, because it all varies on your energy utilization. So if whether you train or not, do you really need that excess carbohydrates or not? I can't just tell you 50 grams is good or 100 grams is good. You might be insulin sensitive or insulin resistance. Maybe you can only handle 20 grams or 30 grams without actually tipping the scale of glycogen. So all varies. Can you recommend a good supplement for bowel obstruction? It depends what's going on, if you're actually having issues or not. But the first thing we'd start to use is magnesium citrate, because if you have a blockage in your intestine, you know, technically, is it, do you have like a hernia issue? Do you have inflammation, like such as IBDs happening? Need a little bit more information, or was it like a scar tissue that caused it and damaged the small intestine? Oh, okay. So if that's the case, so that's the, if there's damage to the small intestine. So the thing is, when you consume the food has to be broken down to smaller particles so it does not cause issues. So you can use digestive enzymes before every single meal. Then you can use probiotics throughout the day, and use hydrochloric acid so you can actually have a proper acidity, so you can actually emulsify the food properly before they enter your intestine. But your intestine has to have like a good pH level. I know some people, they like to use glutamine and anything like that, or fiber supplement to push everything through, but it's not about pushing everything through, it's about actually squeezing all the nutrients correctly still. So digestive enzymes before every meal, hydrochloric acid during your meal, and probiotics 2 hours after or 2 hours before. Is vitamin D rat poison? Please clarify. I use it for rat poison, to get rid of rats in my tiny house, or mice. Yeah, but it's not gonna affect the human body. It's totally different. Trust me, they've used 200,000 IU daily for 30 days to actually fix rheumatoid arthritis, so it does not conflict, and it does not affect our bodies. How would you consider a high level of total sugar? Oh, we already answered that question. Is vitamin D? Answer that. Let me put that here. Vitamin D. We discussed testosterone. Sorry, I'm just re-putting everything so I can put it in the video for you guys, so it'll be a little bit easier. Which vitamin C is good to take? I take liposomal because actually it's highly absorbable and you get way more than the average. They recommended 1,000 milligrams liposomal because it actually enhances the absorption level and it bypasses the digestive juices, so it goes automatically to your intestine. So you actually, if you're taking 1,000 milligrams, let's say you get roughly about 90% being absorbed, compared to you taking 1,000 milligrams of powder or capsule, you're probably gonna get maybe 10-20% absorbed. Still good. The acidity is used for something else, but still I like the liposomal if you actually have like a very high deficiency in vitamin C, or you're trying to repair certain things. Yeah, vitamin D is safe to take. There's no issues there. Is there any acidity risk for long-term drinking soda water every day, like from soda stream, water, and carbon? I don't like the soda drinking and all that stuff. If you're doing it on an empty stomach, it's fine. It's not gonna cause anything other than possibly, you know, persistent burpee and so on and so forth. Never do it with your food, because if you do it with the food, it's gonna actually emulsify or break down. It's not gonna allow you to actually absorb your nutrients correctly, because it's gonna conflict. Other than that, it should be fine if you're doing it on an empty stomach, but not with your food. How do we know if your pH levels are high? How do we bring it down if it is? Your pH level has to be high in your intestine. If it's not high, you're not gonna actually improve the absorption of your nutrients correctly. Hey Crystal, thanks so much for the flowers. Can we remove plaque from arteries? Go watch my video on YouTube, Vinod. It actually explains everything in specific for you. And I'll actually explain everything step by step, what you should be doing, what you should be taking, and how you should do it. Hey Marie, how are you? Is the bioavailability from liposomal vitamin C significantly greater than ascorbic acid? It is a bit higher. You're gonna get probably about 80 to 90% absorbable. So think of it this way: every 1,000 milligrams you take of liposomal, you're probably gonna absorb close to, let's say, based on your digestion still, you're probably gonna get about 800 milligrams absorbed out of that 1,000 milligrams, right? Now imagine if you're taking the powder. Don't get me wrong, the powder still has benefits for our bowel system and still has benefits for our bladder. So even though you're only absorbing about 10-15%, but the others, when it's actually urinated out, it still has some effect as well on the bladder. What is the interaction of soda water with food? Emulsification. I did a, let me see here. I did the, it's not a video. Let me see. I was actually putting some stuff down and I was actually gonna do it. No, the only reason, if you're gonna be doing the carbonated water, like make sure it's not with food, because if you actually do it with food, sometimes it's gonna cause acid reflux. Other times it's gonna cause, because the acidity in it is gonna actually damage your tooth enamel, and because it does conflict with your pH level in your small intestine, so you're not gonna actually be able to pull all the nutrients correctly from your food. See, the bubbles in the drink, they actually mess with your digestion. So that's the only reason, if I would say, if you do really want to drink it on its own, but not with your food. Capsule or liquid form of vitamin D3 and K2. Probably if you're able to get it in liquid caps, in a liquid gel would be probably ideal, mixed with MCT oil. Have you heard of the body reversing soft plaque before calcification? Of course you have. That's how you actually lower your LPPLA2. Once you lower your LPPLA2, that means there's no soft plaque buildup. There's no soft plaque buildup. That means you're not going to get any more calcification. So before you remove the calcifications with, let's say, nattokinase or high levels of MK2, vitamin K2, for example, MK7, you want to make sure your LPPLA2 is safe and is fixed. If it's not fixed, then I would not remove any calcification. Why do vitamin D prices vary so much? Which ones to take? It's better to actually get it in a gel form and make sure it is mixed with MCT oil for vitamin D, for vitamin D3. MCT oil is a lot more stable than actually getting it from olive oil, for example. Is resveratrol or spirulina good? I don't have any information on spirulina. I don't believe in it. I think it's a waste of money. It's just more of a herb or a nutrient. I don't know how well it is, but when you're looking at resveratrol is good as a polyphenol for your arteries. That's all I can tell you. Is it good for anti-aging? I think there could be some kind of bullshit out there whether it's good for anti-aging or not. But any polyphenols are actually good for anti-aging. I'm taking vitamin D3 600 IU. How much K2 should I take? 600 IU of vitamin D3, or you're saying 6,000 IU? If you're doing 6,000 IU of vitamin D3, you know, I would take about, let's say, you can take up to 100 micrograms of K2 per 10,000 IU of vitamin D3, so that would be fine. How do we get rid of H. pylori? H. pylori is very tricky. I am currently working with a person that had H. pylori for 9 years. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a procedure you have to follow, Crystal. You'll probably have to book a time with me, and there's a procedure you have to follow. Any recommendation with which company? I did put it on my website, I think. I get it from iHerb, Marie. The one that I take, the vitamin D3. Like, keep in mind, I take 50,000 IU. I don't know if you guys want to do that. If you want to take 50,000 IU, then you can kind of do that, like, say, once a week. But it is, oh, I don't have it anymore. Oops, I don't have it on my website. I think maybe they removed it. Let's go to iHerb. Just make sure it does contain MCT oil. So vitamin D3 with MCT oil, not olive oil or none of that stuff, because olive oil will actually oxidize. So yeah, there is lots up here. Maybe send me a direct message. I can send you which form you need. I take 50,000 IU, but you need probably, it's best to kind of take about 1,000 IU per 25 pound of body weight. Just eat liver, forget supplements. Yes, 100%. But keep in mind, some of us are very deficient. And yes, once we eat, you know, certain carnivorous foods, let's say liver and other things, yes, it does fulfill any of the missing gaps. But the problem is, if some of us are already heavily depleted over the years, sometimes the supplements are going to actually work to fulfill that missing gap. Until we actually fulfill that missing gap, then we can rely on food. Because keep in mind, a lot of our food system out there have been played with so much and heavily processed And that's why we end up using a lot of the nutrients. I love liver. I eat it daily. That's how I actually get my vitamin B's and D and everything else, and vitamin K2. But since our body is heavily deficient, or some of us have an issue with a specific disease, we do need more than normal of, let's say, certain supplements that they just come from food. Don't get me wrong, I hate having all the supplements because, you know, instead of supporting pharmaceuticals, now we're supporting like other bullshit companies. But I hope these companies will stay truly to their products and not start using like cheap ingredients. Is 12,000 IU vitamin D with K2 good? Yeah, should be fine. Should be fine. Once you kind of hit your levels, you know, definitely go down to a maintenance level. So the maintenance level, like I said, guys, is going to be at least 1,000 IU per 25 pound of body weight. And that's how you want to use it. And the vitamin K2 is just going to prevent and is going to end up regulating your calcium. That's all it's going to be doing. So you end up getting too high of a calcium from taking, let's say, too much vitamin D3. But, you know, you guys have to kind of keep an eye on your testing and kind of find out what is your levels. What about raw meat? Raw meat is amazing. I went raw meat for almost about 4 or 5 years doing a carnivore. It works really good, but like I said, the problem is it's all about the source. And yes, raw meat, you're going to get way more nutrients and you're actually going to be feeling a lot more fulfilled compared to eating cooked meat. I kind of don't like the idea of cooked, especially there's a lot of individuals that overcook the meat, and overcooking the meat is going to cause more of a carcinogenic effect as well too. Why do you think some people question the causal relationship between hypercholesterolemia and atherosclerosis and heart disease? Hypercholesterolemia is, I don't know if we're kind of getting to the same answer or not, but hypercholesterolemia has nothing to do with atherosclerosis and has nothing to do with the heart disease. As simple as that. Hypercholesterolemia, whether you have high cholesterol or low cholesterol, has nothing to do with atherosclerosis, had nothing to do with heart disease. We've all been taught wrong from the pharmaceuticals and the big corporations and the government that cholesterol is the cause of heart disease. It's not. High cholesterol is just a sign that is telling you there's something wrong in your body. High cholesterol, let's say if your arteries are being calcified by calcium and cholesterol, they're protecting you from actually having leakage or having the crust of that soft plaque burst and having a heart attack. Calcification is there to protect you while you're actually fixing the root cause. The root cause, what causing atherosclerosis and heart disease, is your soft plaque. And then why is there soft plaque? It's all related to your diet, related to the environment, related to radiation, related to the Roundup, the heavy sprayed chemicals, the anti-nutrients effect we get from the soil. So that's why we have atherosclerosis, where it leads to heart disease. Cholesterol is just there to actually protect you temporarily until you fix it. But if you're not gonna fix it, cholesterol is gonna keep calcifying. So now we have two things we have to worry about. We have soft plaque and we have too much calcification. Before you start fixing your calcification, you have to fix the soft plaque. Once you fix the soft plaque, your cholesterol will actually be stable. Once your cholesterol is stable, now you can actually go back and start working on removing the calcification. That's how simple it is. But the problem is people keep looking at cholesterol the wrong thing because they don't know how to fix soft plaque. There's no medication for it. So everybody been taught we don't know how to fix soft plaque. You cannot remove calcifications. Well, yes, you do. There is a lot of research, a lot of scientific research out there using heavy load of nattokinase, heavy load of resveratrol, heavy load of polyphenols, and they've seen about 20 to 40% reduction in calcification. But first, let's fix the soft plaque issue. I love everything you teach us. Thank you so much. Cheers. People who have bypass operation, what should they be careful on? My uncle has it. Be careful on? coagulation. You want to kind of prevent any coagulation effect. And that's what we need to kind of, exercise does help because it actually vasodilates your arteries. Getting tired here. So what you recommend for female with low DH, you're probably talking about low DHEA on raw meat diet for a few years now. Well, it depends. Like, I don't know how the diet is like. You know, sometimes aging affects it, stress affects it, adrenal insufficiency, certain medication, maybe some health conditions. Sometimes the diet the person is consuming is not getting proper nutrients, or maybe it could be like an autoimmune disease that is being fixed, but it's not fixed yet. Or sometimes it could be genetic. So there's a lot of things we have to look into. We can't just assume carnivorous, if she's eating raw meat all this time, is just gonna fix the issue. Maybe it is fixing the issue, but at a very, very small step, because it took years to develop. It's gonna probably take years to actually heal. What are your thoughts on obtaining K2, MK7 from NATO instead of supplements? You could, there's just not enough of it. If you're not, me myself, I don't like, you know, the NATO product much, but just because there is some traces of heavy estrogenic, but if it's not kind of conflicting with your estradiol level, then yeah, you can definitely get it from there. It's going to be a lot more bioavailable if you can tolerate the food and the taste of it. I can't. I tried it. I couldn't. Years ago, I tried it. NATO helps with decalcifications, not so much with the soft plaque. The soft plaque, we need it, you can actually control that with polyphenols and go to cola. What do you think? What's your thoughts on eggs? Is it bad cholesterol? I don't know if it's bad. It's not bad at all because I eat 10 eggs a day. So cholesterol in the eggs is nothing to actually conflict with your body. That's all a myth. I'm writing this down. So eggs, let's talk about eggs. So every egg has roughly, and we're just gonna say roughly, so every egg has about 2 grams of saturated fats, of course with yolks. I eat 10 eggs every day. I've been doing that for 10 years. So every egg has about 2 grams of fat, has about, give or take, 3 to 5 grams of protein. So the 2 grams of fat, some of it is omega-3s, and some of it is saturated fats. So the saturated fats in the egg is roughly about 1.5 grams, which is nothing. So if you're worried about your LDL going up, yeah, if you eat 10 eggs a day, it's gonna go up because now you're getting about, so take 1.5 grams by 10, that's 15 grams of saturated fats, which is absolutely nothing. It is gonna actually increase your good cholesterol. Any products that contains cholesterol does not raise your cholesterol. Keep that in mind, guys. Any product such as liver or such as eggs that contain cholesterol has nothing to do with the cholesterol levels you have in your body. The cholesterol levels, whether you eat eggs, 10 eggs a day or 20 eggs a day or not, your body, your liver still produces 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol a day. So it's absolutely, irrelevant to actually blame eggs on heart disease. Even if you eat no eggs at all, you're still gonna get 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol. We need cholesterol to survive. Cholesterol is an antioxidant for our bodies. What about potato chips and the different oils in it? Does it raise LDL? See, now the potato chips and the oils in there, now that's oxidization. That's oxidized oils with resistant starches, with the starches. So that's gonna cause a dramatic effect on your LPPLA2, on a soft plaque, and the smaller particles of your LDL. That's totally different. First of all, you have potato chips, which is high in simple carbohydrates. Then you have different oils, vegetable oils that are already being oxidized. Any oil in a bottle, is already oxidized. And it's very highly inflammatory omega-6 bullshit. Seriously. As simple as that. Is gotu kola better as capsules or as loose leaf tea? And for female, how much of gotu kola a day is recommended? I actually put the, if you watch the whole video, Borshel, I put in there how much to actually take per pound of weight. If you can actually grow your own gotu kola and actually use the green leaves, that would be like the highest levels you can ever get. If you can get seeds, if you get, I'm not able to find seeds. If you guys can find seeds and grow it your own and make it into, like, say, take a couple pieces a day, that would be highly the best, or make it into tea, that would be way better than just taking capsule. But if you cannot find it and you're stuck in taking capsules, in the video I did mention how much of the proper extraction is required. So look at that in the video and you can actually see it. And Miss Cosmo as well too, you can actually see that in the video. I did explain everything in there. Dietary cholesterol is not affecting serum cholesterol at a significant level. People, do not be afraid of eggs, please. Best food for your nervous system. Oh, 100%. 100%. That is the best food we can actually have. You can actually survive just eating eggs. And I've ate eggs for 30 days straight. I was eating 24 eggs every single day. It's just incredible. I can't quit cigarettes 3-5 sticks a day or alcohol twice a week. Start taking some vitamin C. Take vitamin C to your tolerance level. You'll quit cigarettes easily. With soft plaque, we'll go to color expedite classifications. If the soft plaque is in its beginning stages, should we aim for reversal through polyphenols? So I would actually use both polyphenols and go to cola. Does butter oxidize much when used in cooking meat, like frying? Only if it turns black, because keep in mind, butter still has traces of dairy. So what actually oxidizes is the dairy in the butter. So that's why it is ideal to actually not too high of a temperature, and or possibly turn your butter into like clarified butter, which is ghee. Ghee will be 100% and be very, very tough to oxidize unless you're hitting over the, I think, 450 or 500 degrees. 8 glasses of water, I run twice a week. 8 glasses of water is a bit too much unless you're actually hydrating correctly. Is ghee better? Ghee is better than butter, yes. Okay guys, I'm gonna call it a day, because I gotta take Duke outside in the snow so he can do his little walk. I usually feed him right now. I have to give him, he's gonna be having some eggs, 3 eggs. He eats 3 eggs every morning. So I have to go downstairs, cook him some eggs. This way I can recharge my phones, and I'll definitely come back and do some live again. How can we have raw meat? I eat raw meat every day. It's delicious. Seriously, it's delicious. The only thing I put on it is just some Himalayan salt, and it tastes incredible, and it's one of the best. Vitamin C to quit cigarettes? Yes, but you have to take vitamin C to your tolerance level. So we're talking about 9,000 milligrams daily, or maybe 12,000 milligrams daily. Are the oxidization products produced in the process of making ghee? You're not gonna actually get the oxidization in ghee. You're gonna get the oxidization in a lot of oils in the bottle, like olive oil, avocado oil, all the other stuff. Ghee and butter, it's very hard to oxidize it, because if it does get oxidized, you're gonna notice that the coloration of the ghee or the butter is actually going to more a little bit brownish. Is raw meat chewable? It is chewable, yeah, 100%. Isn't there a magnesium to help with Monica's questions, Maurice? I didn't see their question. What was the question? Doctor, I'm having problem with letting go of my body waste. I drink water the required daily. Yeah, you need magnesium and trace minerals to actually help with that. Thanks so much, Miss Cosmo, for actually putting that out there. Thank you and have a great day. Best live ever. I appreciate your effort here. Thanks. Cheers for joining us. Hopefully you can become a subscriber as well too, and your support will be really appreciated. In the meantime, you guys have a nice, what's today? Monday or Tuesday? Got a couple more days before I head out. So you guys have a nice Tuesday, but I'm sure I'm gonna come back. If the weather is gonna stay like this, not as nice, I'll come back. We'll do another live. In the meantime, you guys, cheers. And don't forget, if you guys want to go over the information we covered, you can always go to YouTube and check it out as well, guys.